Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you can find a description of the day's astrology as I have spelled it out here. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. And then I will play another card that, in the context of today's astrology, may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Four of Swords, first day for the Four of Swords, and this indicates that we have shifted. For the Four of Swords represents the last 10 days, or the third 10 days of the sun's transit in the land of Libra. Now, Libra is an air sign, and swords in tarot represent air element symbolism. And air element symbolism is all about the intellect. It's about how we use our thoughts, our plans, and our communication. In a way, it's a lot about our mental wellness, and it's also about, remembering that we can use our thoughts and our words either to help or to do harm. So we come to the Four of Swords. And at this point, we have, we had the heartbreak of the Three of Swords, right? And so now it's time to sort of take a rest. And this indicates a time of healing. It's a time to sort of draw back our energies and replenish our spirits, spend some time in solitude with our own thoughts, get to know ourselves a little bit better, in the wake of everything that has happened, in the wake of everything that we've been through, it's time to just sort of chill out for a little bit, rest and relax, recover from whatever it is that we've been through, right? And, it's also considered a good time to reassess our powers and limitations while we're in seclusion. Okay, so it's a good time to just sort of sit back and look at what limitations we've come up against and also, what we still have the power to do. And with that said, I'm going to shuffle these one more time, but I want to let you know that I'm so happy to have you here, and also that I am now offering tarot readings and astrology readings online. So you can look in the description and find the web page. It's Rose Tarot and Energy Services, and you can contact me through that page, and I'd be happy to do a reading of some kind for you. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead. Page of Swords. Okay, so we have swords and swords, and we have air and air. That's really appropriate, actually. So, the Page of Swords is a person who is somewhat inexperienced in the ways of the world. However, they have some good ideas that are untested. They seem really eager to share their ideas with other people and to really kind of get something started. It's really kind of a beginning card. It does indicate a certain amount of youthful enthusiasm. But as I'm looking at this Page of Swords, I also see maybe a look of slight uncertainty on this person's face. Yes, I do know how to use my words, my thoughts, my words, and my plans. I do know how to use this sword, but I'm, still about a little bit uncertain about when to use them and sometimes how best to use them, right? So this can indicate a youthful figure in our lives. To me, it often points to a preteen or a teenager, who has a lot of good ideas or is learning a lot of things that are inspiring to them, and, still has some sort of hesitation or still has some sort of reluctance based around the fact that they haven't had their ideas tested yet, right? So, if that's you, no matter what your age is, if you're starting over if you're starting something new, you've had a fresh idea, it's untested, you don't know what's going to happen with it, but you want to go ahead with it. This card says that absolutely should, if only for the sake of experience, right? But probably that you have a pretty good idea as well. And on the page, well, like I said, the sun and the moon are both in air signs. In fact, sun, moon, and Saturn are all in air signs. And they connect our grand trine today, right? So sun is conjunct to Venus over here, and both of them are aspecting with Mars and Saturn in a trine, and those two are trine to one another. That creates like this triple blessing +2, I guess, or maybe it's a double triple blessing, I'm not sure, but of real motivation, of real initiative, of real power to get work done. Okay, so I'm looking at the air signs. You know, this is very much about the mental power it takes to get things done, the mental work and initiative that it's going to take, the communication that it takes to implement our goals. You know, and Mars is in Gemini right now, so Mars is very much about taking action toward our best ideas, and also being a little bit flexible, not, you know, not feeling like we have to get it done in the first try, like being willing to try things a couple of different times, a couple of different ways. In this trine position with Saturn, like whatever it is that we're working on, just try again, right? Saturn is down here retrograde in Aquarius saying, you know, let's work on some things that bring us closer to the community, or let's work on some things that help us feel as though we're contributing to community and culture the way we would like to say that we would. And then the two are trining off with Sun conjunct Venus over here. Sun conjunct Venus, like we are at our most attractive. We have the most pulling power when the Sun is conjunct to Venus, and Venus is in its rulership and its domicile over here in Libra, right? This is where Venus rules the day, in Libra and in Taurus. So Venus is very powerful here. Mercury is pretty powerful over here. Sun, less powerful in Venus, but in Libra, but conjunct to Venus, like our attention is very much on what we would like to attract, and we have the pulling power to attract it, okay? And, you know, that's attracting good opportunities that will work for us. That's attracting attracting opportunities that we can work for, okay, to better our own situations for ourselves. And then taken together with the Four of Swords. You know, it almost seems as though like somebody is restless. You know, it almost seems as though, because this is about really retreating, getting some rest, healing, allowing ourselves to recover, and to reassess what our powers are, okay? And the Page of Swords seems to be somewhat in assessment of what the powers are as well. But the Page of Swords is really eager to get going, whereas eager to get going, like a Mars and Gemini kind of vibe, right? It's sort of youthful and forward motion oriented. And, you know, the Four of Swords says we're not that eager to get going. So, you know, perhaps we're in a little bit of a holding pattern right now, you know? Perhaps we need some rest. Perhaps we need to sort of do the internal cleansing, the recovery, the reassessment that we need to make. But we, you know, also have this passion, this drive and this desire to get some stuff done right now. And, you know, that can be, I mean, I think that's kind of almost everybody's story right now, right? Like, I have good ideas. There are things that I would like to do. There are things that I would think about doing for myself, but I'm busy with my everyday stuff. I'm busy with the stuff that, you know, I have to do just to take care of myself. And then, you know, there's this, like, take a break, right? Like, I don't want to take a break. I do want to get something started, and I don't seem to have the time for either of those things. Oh, there it is, right? Saturn and Aquarius. Saturn is very much about time, and it's really about, you know, giving back to you in terms of stability, what you put into it in terms of work, okay? So taking this rest and this respite is a necessary thing. But our work vibes are so strong right now, and they're so blessed, and they're so trine, they're so double, triple trine right now. You know, I would hesitate to really encourage anyone not to rest, okay? But there is healing to be done through this. The Sun conjunct Venus, while being trine to both of these, are also in opposition to Chiron, so they're really getting like a bird's eye view look of things that you know, that can be healed in terms of our ability to relate to one another. So perhaps this is just really about, giving ourselves a rest so that we can think about how we relate to other people. And, for the things that we're working on, not to be necessarily laborious, especially mentally laborious, but to be, geared toward creating something new, and also to be geared toward, again, how we relate to others. I count 5 swords on the page in front of us, so I have to say that there might be a little bit of mental anguish, like a little bit of internal battling. There might be some people who are struggling with self-doubt, or worse yet, like very negative self-talk, very negative self-opinions, okay? And we have to take a break from that stuff, guys. We really have to catch ourselves at it, and we really have to put a stop to it. I don't know the answer to how, really. In my experience, what I've had to do is just catch myself having the negative, anxious, ruminating thought, or having the, just the harsh criticism of myself. When I catch myself thinking it, I just shut myself up and I go do something else. I don't know if that's the right way to do it. I don't know if that's the healthy way to do it. All I know is that putting it out of my mind and going on to something else helps me not dwell in that place, right, of rumination. It helps me not dwell in that place of kicking myself and feeling like I'm a terrible person. Sometimes if I catch myself saying something really negative to myself, I stop and apologize to myself and I say something nice instead. And, I'm going to say it's hard to sometimes even catch yourself having that negative self-talk. But when you do, please, think for yourself about something you can do about it. Have a new idea, okay? And try something different out, because the negative self-talk is not going to help relieve any anxiety. It's not going to help in your efforts to heal and rest and sort of assess what you can do and what you can't do, right? Having a voice in the back of your head constantly telling you what you can't do, you're not really going to have much of a conversation about what you can do, right? This person wants to have a conversation about what we can do, though, so let's be thinking about that. Okay, friends, I think that's all I have to say about it today. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.